Tēnā koe, Mr. Speaker. Kia ora tātou. I don't have too much to contribute because like my colleague, it's not as if I'm an artiste. But Māori performing arts, that's where some of the action is at. In fact, last week we had the kapahaka competitions in Aotearoa. Aotearoa came second, but that's all right. We came second. Mr. Speaker, I think that I did want to make a couple of important points with respect to this particular bill. As we know, and I think as the Minister pointed out, this bill replaces the Arts Council of New Zealand Toi Aotearoa Act 1994, which established the council known as Creative New Zealand. And under the 1994 Act, the governance structure is made up of seven-member council and two boards. The Arts Board with 7 members and secondly Te Waka Toi with 7 members. And this bill replaces the old structure with a single board to be known as the Arts Council of New Zealand Toi Aotearoa, the Arts Council. Mr. Speaker, other members, Catherine Delahanty alluded to one particular matter that we do have a concern about. Although having said that, as we try to do with most of the first readings of all bills, let them have some air, let them go out to public debate and consideration. But one of the issues that we want to raise is in particular around the makeup of the council and in particular, I suppose, the relegation of Te Waka Toi in terms of membership and status. This bill determines that the Arts Council will consist of 13 members which will be appointed by the Minister and that at least 4 persons will be appointed as members of the well, at least they must be acknowledged as those people who have qualified for appointment because they have regard, or at least, or understand a knowledge of Te Ao Māori, Tikanga Māori and Māori arts. And I suppose, bearing in mind that this board, that Te Waka Toi has been an important part of Māori art and creativity, I suppose, for a period of time, I can but reflect on some of the discussion that's come back to us from those people who have been involved in this particular area. From someone who's been at least involved with the Toi Iho branding exercises, as well as been involved in the Waka Toi, I get, aside from what Catherine Delahanty talked about and not having too much feedback, I can say that the Māori Party has had some feedback from some of those people involved, and to be truthful, many of them were trying to work out any benefits that might come from the change from having a Māori board of 7 people serviced by its own unit of Māori staff to a mainstream council where Māori are but 4 of 13 people who may form an arts council committee. And so she talks about the fact that the proposed new structure destroys a Māori icon and a successful positive arts model for and by Māori. It takes away a body that has its own whakapapa, its own, I suppose, history, that is identified with whānau, hapua niwi and urban Māori authorities and significant Māori individuals, tohunga artists and communities. So there's the rub. She continues that for her, when she heard about the changes, she believed that it meant that the vital and important entity of Waka Toi is lost to us, she talked about, forever, and she couldn't see the reason for it, and that she wasn't at that point convinced that there was any good for Māori or New Zealand, or indeed the international communities who identify the Waka Toi brand with high-quality Māori art and culture. So I think there's an issue there that hopefully will be considered by the Select Committee. The second issue, sir, is I suppose around the protection of quality, Māori quality, which Te Toi Iho, the Māori brand, was all about. To maintain the quality issues, the authenticity issues, and the feedback that we've had is, I suppose, the concern about an inability of the government to protect, in particular, Māori concepts and symbols, and in fact see them, in many cases, being misused, misappropriated, and mistreated. And I cite the incidents, for example, of the Māori face moko kit promoted on a American Halloween store website. I cite the incidents of the use of Māori designs by a person by the name of Philip Morris on their cigarette packaging, a baker's advertisement in which gingerbread men performing a haka are flattened by a giant bag of white flour, I cite the incidents of the copyright of Māori names by the Danish toy company Lego, or the use of the so-called Māori warrior in the Sony game. And I also cite the designs which featured in Vogue from Jean-Paul Gaultier's collection, in which the use of the moko is combined with images which, from our perspective, were culturally offensive. Namely, a female model with a moko is posing sitting with her legs open, and the other images convey a theme of cannibalism. Now, certainly as soon as some of these images hit the headlines, we know that Māoridom certainly wakes and shakes, and therefore we'd be hoping to find some mechanism which allows those sorts of images to be protected. And in the past, Wakatoi was that. We would hope that there is some mechanism in there that does protect those particular images where possible, and would hope that in the select committee process those points are made to allow this to happen. With that, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Kia ora tātou.
I call John Hayes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.